for joining me today to talk about your experience about getting the coaching support and getting on the program with me. So, how are you keeping?
Yeah, very good, thanks. And how are you?
All good, thank you. Look, I'll just ask you a couple of questions with regards, to how your experience was, just so if there's anybody out there, still considering or still being on the fence, whether or not getting on a coaching program or getting some career support makes sense for them, they can kind of make up their mind if that's the right level of support for them. So, would you mind describing a little bit where were you career wise prior to starting the coaching program with me?
Yeah, so my kind of my previous job ended just a few weeks ago, and I was working there for kind of 2.5 years. And because it was kind of program work we were doing, I knew that there was an end like in sight. So I knew that I had to start looking for work kind of a few months ago. And that's when I was kind of looking at, yeah, what should I do next? Who should I talk to? And I really wasn't too sure at all. And then, yeah, randomly one day I was on LinkedIn and I saw one of your old clients talking about you. And I thought, oh, I've heard of career coaches, but I wasn't too sure kind of what they did. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to once I kind of start wrapping up work, I'll get in touch just to see what it's like, and the rest is history. Here we are now.
Yeah, I remember that. And would you mind sharing what drew you into working with me or getting on the program there versus getting something else or not getting the support at all?
Yeah, I guess because especially in tech, the job market at the moment is very different to like the last few times I've been looking for work. It's a lot harder. There's a lot of red flags around. It's just so hard to navigate. So I knew that I didn't want to just go in blind. I definitely wanted to kind of help as well, because the last thing you want is to go in blind, get any job that says yes, and then realize after a month or two it's not a good fit. You start feeling burnt out, and then you just repeat the process. So I definitely wanted to kind of step back, see what was really important for me, and then kind of work from there. So that's why like the helping hand was definitely something I was looking for. And yeah, that's what drew me to kind of working with you, is just, yeah, stepping back, going through kind of what I want and then coming up with a plan to get it.
Hmm. Yeah, and what you said there is very important, I think, because nobody wants to end up in a situation where they're landing their next job and, 2, 3, 4 months in and they're unhappy again. So, I
Yeah.
think that thoughtfulness throughout the job search process and even positioning is so important. Um, and of course, before starting, everybody has objections, like literally everybody. So, would you mind just describing a little bit, how was it working with me? Maybe sharing some ins and outs, maybe what surprised you about the program, about my approach, about our sessions.
Yeah, I guess I haven't done career coaching before, so I didn't really know what to expect. If I had to guess, I thought we'd, be looking at CVs, cover letters, LinkedIn, portfolio kind of straight away and just optimizing those. But I was surprised that that only came in like the third, fourth session. The first few were all about what was important for me, my energizers, what would burn me out, just really looking at yeah, how to navigate that and making sure that when I'm looking for jobs in the future that I can kind of spot the green and red flags about what's important for me. And yeah, it was kind of surprising that the first three sessions were all about kind of what's important for me. And I wouldn't have thought that would be the case, but it was definitely worthwhile. And yeah, just kind of coming up with my top values, and then the career wheel, making sure that kind of everything that's really important for me, you can spot it in the job description, or it's something that you can straight away kind of ask for. if it's a more open conversation with, say, a contact or people you know. And yeah, just really being sure when you start applying, you know, what are your green flags, your red flags, so your next job will very likely kind of suit you really, really well. And that way, when you get your next job, you know you're going to be there for quite a long time. You're not going to be burnt out in 6 months doing the process all over again.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was the really surprising bit, is just how much was about kind of me as a person before even going near my CV or portfolio, etc.
Well, yeah, the self discovery element is usually what surprises people the most. Especially around their own values, and most of the people are not even aware of how they affect their daily life and their work life, even work life balance. So it's definitely something that was worth looking into. And of course, it does pay. And it does play a huge part in creating the career direction that truly fits who you have become over the years. So I think that self even development element at the start is really crucial to to get that direction right, and then to get that positioning right as a result. And would you mind sharing how does your career direction and confidence with regards to your job search strategy and your career strategy in general compares to where you've been when you started?
Yeah, I'm a lot more confident now. So, kind of previous work, I was always kind of doing stuff I was good at. So, that would be kind of the web design, development,
Hmm.
UX kind of career path. And yeah, I just thought kind of with career coaching, I want to kind of pinpoint kind of more specific jobs that would more suit me. So, kind of weeding out the few parts of the job that I've been doing for years that I didn't like or that kind of really burnt me out. And then kind of finding job titles that are more specific to what I wanted. And that's what we did together, kind of halfway through, realizing that, like, for example, with me, I'm good at everything to do with the web and UX, but the consulting side of it, meetings and talking to people for half the day and then doing the actual work afterwards, that's what was kind of burning me out in the long run.
Hmm.
So, kind of looking into individual contributor roles, kind of something that, like that phrase, I never really knew of. And then when you said it to me, that just made so much sense. It's someone who can, work hard, but it's more in the background. Of course, you're still part of the team and talking to people, but you are left alone to do what you're an expert in, and that was really important. So, yeah, I'm definitely kind of looking for work, but kind of pinpointing specific areas I like to be in, as opposed to going for any kind of design job out there, because the majority of them, there's just so much consultancy and kind of marketing thrown in, and that's not the kind of type of work I want to do anymore. And discovering that was really important going forward, because if I land a job that's kind of really suited for me based on what I've learned about myself, then I'll be there for years and years, as opposed to just giving it a chance and then you never know, a few months in I could hate it.
Yeah, isn't that such a freeing experience now? Just to know that, and of course, I know you worked so hard. I mean, like you were one of the best clients when it comes to organizing notes and getting things done. So you are really a doer. You really are.
Yeah,
And would you mind telling me a little bit about some milestones that you've achieved since we started?
yeah. I guess kind of what I've been doing a lot in the background was kind of upskilling, because that was kind of one thing you always said is, you can optimize your online presence, your CV, etc. But that's not going to be kind of 8 hours a day every day of the week. So that I had a lot of kind of spare time in between applying for jobs and kind of optimizing my online presence. So I started learning kind of new skills, because one of the things we did together was, when looking at those kind of job roles I really wanted to get into, just making sure all the requirements I can either meet or can meet in the future by upskilling. So just learning new things is what keeps me occupied in between looking for jobs at the moment. And that's definitely extremely beneficial. Like even talking to people who have similar jobs to the ones I want, I just ask them kind of what tools you're using. Is there anything in my portfolio that's missing that you straight away would say would be beneficial? And just working from there, just filling in those gaps, anything relevant that would make me look better during an interview. That's what I'm doing at the moment. That's been incredibly beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, addressing the skills gaps, it's a fantastic way of, filling out your job search strategy along with the interview prep as well. And like I see a lot of people um completely going off the board and like not addressing those items and just going straight into kind of doom scrolling and solely focusing on applications, which of course, doesn't really work that well for you. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And if there would be someone who's quite unsure, maybe on the fence of whether they should reach out and get some support, what would you say to that person? Because of course you've been in their shoes.
Yeah. If you're unsure, then that's the exact reason why you should get in touch, because I was unsure about kind of what I was doing and what I should do next. And then the second someone pointed me your way, I just reached out. And after our initial chat, I just knew, yeah, this is what I need. Just a kind of helping hand, kind of setting myself up, and then
Mm.
just going out there and being in a better position when applying for jobs. So, yeah, if you're not fully confident in your next step or how to start getting your name out there, definitely consider coaching.
Very good, very good. That's so useful. Thank you so much. And if you were to describe a person, who would benefit most from the program, from the support, what would be the kind of a person that would benefit most from it?
Say there'd be a few different people, like someone like me whose job was job was ending and wasn't too sure about the future, or someone who's been working in a certain area for years and years and they realized I want to do something completely different. And that's definitely someone who'd need a hand with how to kind of navigate a new market, because you wouldn't be used to the kind of processes and like looking for jobs the same ways you would have last time, or anyone who hasn't applied for a new job in years and is a bit rusty when it comes to interviews and CVs and just preparing yourself. Yeah, anyone who's not 100% ready and confident, they could definitely benefit from it.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I know there is a lot of people that they never even heard of coaching or never considered it in the past, and yet they feel stuck, they feel kind of alone in this. And like, as you know, I always keep saying, no, you don't have to do this on your own. There are actually ways of going through each step, step by step, really kind of without getting overwhelmed with all the applications and interviews and all the prep. So yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Look, I won't be keeping you long. Just one more thing. If you were to share one sentence with anybody listening to this testimonial now, what would you like them to walk away with?
Just do it. Yeah, if you need the helping hand, a bit of a boost, and just kind of remind yourself that you're fully able, just do it.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe, for sharing. And look, thank you for agreeing to this testimonial as well. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people still being on the fence, still feeling alone in their job search, and not being able to put a finger on what maybe they want to do next exactly. So thank you so much. And look, I just want to say it out loud here. I am so proud of the progress you've made over the last couple of weeks. You can only be proud of yourself and of the work that you've done, because you've put so much into the process and into our sessions. So look, you can literally pat yourself on the back now for all the progress. All right. Look, thank you so much and take care, Joe.
Yeah, thanks a million. Thanks for all your help too.